For there is love that is as strong as death, jealousy demanding as the grave, and many waters cannot quench this love. The Naomi before Jesus was awesome. She loved life. She had amazing friends. She had amazing opportunities, experiences. She had it all in a sense. A great future, a big family full of love and joy, and every weekend was always something else exciting, something different, whether it was a party or somewhere to go, traveling. Life was good. Life was great. As a matter of fact, that Naomi felt as though she had created all of that she had. She felt as though everything that was before her was because of her, was because of her talents, because of her abilities, because of her personality. You know, she felt that she had all these dreams and she created everything that was before her. That Naomi really didn't need a savior. She didn't need a God other than to give thanks or other than to seek in times of trouble. But that Naomi didn't need a relationship with a savior. I came to him with a perception, with a thought. I thought that God wanted to dull everything about me. I thought that he wanted to dull every dream, dull every desire, take it away, constrict it, make it less, make it mediocre. That's who I thought God was. I thought he wanted to come into my life to only make it worse. And the very moment, I remember in February 2010, when I invited him into my life, when I answered that deep desire that I couldn't understand, but I just knew I needed to try, he said these very words. He said it like this. He said, "Girl, if you think what you have in store for yourself is anything, you ain't seen nothing yet, and you need to trust me." You see, I was on a path of creating the perfect life for myself. But the problem is that I was trying to create this perfect life or this complete life with incomplete ingredients, with imperfect people, with incomplete things. And so as I think about it, I could project where I would be right now. I would be in a cycle of constantly changing things out of thinking, okay, if I change this, then I'll be happier. If I change this relationship, I'll be better. If I change this job, if I change this house, this place, I change this state, I'll feel better, I'll look better. When I've recognized that Jesus, he died not for my rightness, he died for relationship with me first. I realized his death was even for my relationship with others. I remember one day it hit me that not once in my entire life has my father ever told me I was beautiful. And it's not that I don't think he thinks that, but that's just not his nature. And he's never communicated that to me. And so my brain goes like this. And I remember every moment in my life when I was a little girl, when I thought I was ugly, or as a teenager when I thought I wasn't good enough, and I was in the mirror and just wishing that things were different about myself. And I got so angry at my dad because I'm thinking, you're the only man in my life. You're the first man in my life. Why didn't you call me pretty? Why didn't you tell me I was okay? And Jesus came in and all he said was, but he's human too. He's not perfect, Naomi. And what he says and what he does doesn't define who you are today. And it's never defined who you are. And that just blows my mind, because time and time again in our lives, we place so much blame on the lack whether it's the lack of a person, the lack of a thing. And Jesus has literally invaded my life to fill those gaps, to fill those places where I kept trying to fill myself. You know, when you think about life in Jamaica, if you meet a Jamaican and you look at our lifestyle and you look at what we do and how we live, why wouldn't you move here? You come here on vacation, and living here, if you have the right things, it's a lifelong vacation. You know, your life is full of parties on the beach, vacations every weekend because the beach is so close, and in the middle of the week you just go to the beach. Life is all about celebration here. And of course, it's a lot of celebration of the flesh, of your body, of people. It was an addiction in my life. It wasn't just an activity, because here it is, you live this life where you work really hard at your career. You go for it because you're supposed to be the best this that you can be. So that's great. But you do it so you can make enough money so that when you get to the club or you get to this place, you go out for the weekend, you have enough money to pay for the things that are incorporated in these activities. So the drinks, the food, the clothes. And so that becomes a literal cycle. And so we spend our weeks working towards this short period of joy that only ends at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, only for you to wait for it to come again. And Jesus has once again invaded my life to give me that same joy, that same pleasure in an amount that I can't even quantify. And it's ongoing. It actually never fails. It actually never runs out. It actually is complete. I've been asked this question before. I've been asked, but Jesus, what does Jesus save you from? What have you been saved from, Naomi? And it kind of threw me off a little bit. Because in the moment when he saved me, he didn't save me from drugs. He didn't save me from a situation. But to be honest, he saved me from myself. I mean, to go from feeling like you need to hustle to make it and hustle to prove yourself in this world, to literally hustling. I don't want to call it hustling, but you literally hustling to love God more. It's like a hustle to love. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. And the more I chase him, is the more he fills me with the ability to do things. So that success addiction was easily wiped away with a love addiction, with an addiction for God, with an addiction for his presence, with an addiction for his people, an addiction for his purposes, for his desires. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And I experience it every day, because every day I live a life with him, for him, through him. In my relationship with Christ, here it is, he's given me this wonderful calling, and he's shown me what he wants to do with my life. And a lot of it involves being, whether it's on camera, on a stage, but in front of a lot of people on display. In this journey with Christ, I encounter a major struggle: acne. I have a hormonal disorder. They call it polycystic ovarian disease. And for some women, you know, they struggle with lots of different things. But for me, how it shows up in my body is my skin. And it's a big struggle. I even feel really stupid talking about it because it seems so superficial. But my skin issues just feel like an injury. It just makes me feel handicapped, because it makes me feel like I don't deserve to do what I'm supposed to do, or I don't deserve to be in my profession, or I don't deserve to be on camera because I'm not qualified, or I don't look good enough. And a writer, Henry Blackaby, said this. He said, "The reality is that the Lord doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called." That quote, along with what God has said over my life, has allowed me to embrace makeup more. To be happy that he created humans who are smart enough to make awesome makeup. Because at the end of the day, It's not about my looks. It's not about even my smarts or how well I speak. It's literally about the glory of God shining through everything I do. We all have struggles. We all have addictions. We all have places and areas in our life that are empty or that have been bruised or that have been hurt and broken and crushed and crippled. But the good news is that there's a man who decided to go all out for you, who decided to go all out for me and show off on everything else in the world by dying and raising from the dead. I mean, I just think that's just the biggest thing somebody could ever do. I mean, no Beyonce concert can top what Jesus did. And he made a spectacle of love to replace those crippled areas, to replace inadequacy. The perfect love of Christ allows you to unconditionally love the imperfect things in this life, the imperfect people, and even our imperfect selves. And that's what he's done for me. My name is Naomi Cowan, and I am the movement.